Here we go. Hey, we're live.
Dude, we're live again. We're back. It feels
We're
weird.
back.
That's
Yeah.
what we were just talking about, man. I feel like we haven't been here for a minute.
Yeah. I was giving you a hard time because I didn't even know we weren't having a show last week. I'm like texting you. I'm like, dude, where are you?
Yeah, sorry, man. It was a bit crazy last week. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. All right, man. Let's get to it, guys. Welcome to episode 126 of the Drag Driver Pete Show, presented by Summit Racing. Y'all, tonight we've got Derek Putnam on talking about Sick Smokies and the Sick the Magazine experience. We're going to talk about winners, routes, stories, all that kind of stuff from the week there. We're going to cover the winners from Buckeye Skips. And we have a huge, big update from the Drag and Drive World Championship points, man. I worked on that a lot today. So why don't you hit that intro video and we'll get into this.
All right, let's do it.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to the Drag Driver Pete Show, episode 126. Dude, it's crazy. I can't believe it. Presented by Summit Racing. Again, Derek Putnam's on tonight. We're going to talk about Buckeye Skips. We're also going to talk a little bit about Wild West Dragon Dash. Just kind of a great show tonight. Just all around stuff. Derek is going to be on the second half of the show, so make sure that you reshare that as we get into this thing. My name is Mike Narks. I'm the host of this show and the news that happens on Saturdays, and the host of the Short Circuit. Dude, it's gonna be weird. Mr. Eric White's not gonna be there with me, but dude, tell him what you got going on, man. You got a bunch of stuff happening.
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of everything drag driver Pete related. Gonna be honest, I haven't really done a whole lot the last week or so because I've been building a deck at my house. So it's been spending a lot of time doing that. It was something that we were going to do this year, but obviously don't want to build a deck when it's like 90 some degrees out. So I kind of waited, but I don't know if you know about the Midwest, but it goes from summer to winter like overnight. So
Yeah.
so yep, frame is built on that, and going to finish hopefully the deck boards this weekend. But besides that, I got to get back to doing some pictures. I need to get our website up to date with all the pictures, and then I can go back to Sick Summer. So hopefully we'll get Sick Summer photos before Sick Week starts.
Hey, that's the way it goes, man. It's been tough. How many pictures did you take in the month of June this year? 15,000?
It was like 15,000. Yep.
Yeah. So it's fine to take a little bit of time to get through all that stuff. Well, y'all know the deal here. We can't do this without you guys. So thank you for being our race car friends. We appreciate y'all very much. I am asking that you hit that share button tonight as we get into this, because this show is going to be a good one. I see Skylar James. They're saying it is the Eric White. That is exactly right. Eric is a well-known, let's see, I guess famous person within the office there. So anyways, thank you guys so much for being around here. Thank you so much for what you guys do for us. We try and do a lot for you guys, and we appreciate everything that y'all do for us. And thank you to our sponsors, man. Without these guys, we really couldn't do what we're doing. And so we just ask that whenever you are shopping, not even spending money, but just shopping, hit these guys up, see if they've got something that would work for you. So, when you're out there looking, Summit Racing, Deech Works, Molly Motorsport, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, AFCO Racing Products, Performer Built Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, Power Tube TV if you want to watch some automotive related stuff, WAF Racing if you're looking for some super cool carbureted 3D printed stuff, Sweet Patina for the best hand cleaning wipes on the market, and then Racing Junk Classifieds, who has a dedicated drag and drive section. So Appreciate them and all the help that they give us. And let's get right into this thing, man. We've been going 5 minutes here and ain't even talked about Summit yet. Can you believe it? It's kind of crazy. Summit Racing Speed Legacy began in 1968 as a one-man startup and is now the world's speed shop with 4 facilities, 200 plus catalog editions. They fuel your passion, save you money, deliver fast, and offer top-notch customer service for more than 1,500 brands. Make sure to download the Summit Racing mobile app for easy access to speed parts. Find them on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, and on the On All Cylinders podcast for more automotive discussions, kind of like what you got going on right here. From humble origins to the social media lane, Summit Racing stands by your need for speed. And we do ask, obviously, summitracing.com has everything that you could possibly need for your hot rod, but they have extended, and we are one of the few Summit Racing affiliates. So essentially what that means is if you guys follow the link that is in the chat there or pinned to the top of our Facebook page or any link for Summit on our website, it actually, I hate to say the word kickback because it's not really that. It's, I guess it kind of is. Essentially what it is you guys, it is a pass through from us to Summit, just showing that their investment in us is worthwhile. So we would appreciate if y'all would drop that and just click the link as you're going in there. It really, I mean, Summit Racing is Summit Racing. Like all the pricing is the same, all that kind of stuff. The deals are the same. It just shows that, hey, these guys are actually paying attention to what Drag Driver Pete's doing over there.
Should I show them what they need to buy though?
Yeah. Show them what they need to buy.
I mean, you guys are crazy if you didn't think that I was going to get these, but yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want some Crocs with Summit Racing? You got a turbo, you got a piston, you got a spark plug. I mean, you've got a sport mode, or if you're really getting into it, put these babies in 4-wheel drive. Get all the
all-wheel drive launch, man. That's where it's at there. So the question is, are those your nice in-house Crocs, or are those going to be Crocs that you wear everywhere?
They are white, so they're going to be indoor for the most part. But it's kind of like my car. If it's nice out that day, they might see outside. You never know.
Yep. Richard Brewer, I have not shown him. I have not even told him about it because I'm going to mail it to him and let him be surprised. So that's all the clues you get, but you're going to be blown away. It's pretty freaking awesome. It's a gift from the Dirty Panda himself to you, Mr. Eric White, that I picked up while I was in Tulsa last week. So
I mean, that's kind of a tease now.
Oh yeah. So it goes in the mail tomorrow. I had meant to put it out yesterday, but it did not make it. I've been too busy. So
I'm excited.
And hopefully you should get it on Saturday, I would think.
All righty. I'm looking forward to it now.
Right. Well, let's talk about some Drag Drive World Champion point stuff. That's presented by Summit Racing at the PRI Awards, at the Drag and Drive Awards at PRI. So this kind of all fits into Summit here. So I don't want to say I made a mistake. I just didn't look at stuff the way I should have, I guess, and read the internal rules. So huge news. Sick Michigan Miles and Sick Smokies. Thank you to Jesse Fox and Derek Putnam and another few racers, Joe Haney. There was another racer that was standing there that was kind of called this out. But the weekend events and the one-off events, you could essentially win up to 3 or 4 different categories, right? So it was like a specialty trophy kind of deal. So when they rolled out Sick Michigan Miles and Sick Smokies, I assumed, I'm going to take the assumption here on me, and we know what assuming does, that it was the same going into this year. So essentially I had only awarded championship points to the top 3 finishers of the Michigan Miles event. Well, they had changed the rules and they had gone to a class system. So essentially, if you had to sign up for your class just like you would at any other drag and drive. So what it did, instead of awarding what was to be 16 points, now it awarded like several hundred points across everything. So instead of like the quickest Chevrolet being a specialty trophy, it's now a class that people sign up for. So again, I want to say thank you to Jesse Fox and the racers that called this out, because I would have hated to have it incorrect as we go into the Drag and Drive Awards at PRI. So I spent hours this morning going through and updating the Michigan Miles points. Also, I finished up the Sick Smokies points, and we've had some serious shakeups. So that drops in the morning. I'll get it done if I can get it, if I get in tonight early enough. But all of the stuff changes. So we actually have a new third place finisher. Third place currently, I guess not third place finisher, but third place currently, Mr. Lamar Swindell has moved into third place with 105 points from his finish at Sick Smokies.
That's
So
awesome.
I will say this because I've had a lot of people message me after this because they've done more than 2 events, right? So they've done 3 or 4 events, and they're like, man, my points are off. I don't understand, or I should have more points than that, or so and so has done more events than what you have listed there. That is correct. For eligible Drag and Drive World Championship eligible points is different than your overall points, obviously. So eligible points, you can't do more than 1 eighth mile class or event. So that is like, I mean, with all the eighth mile stuff that has happened this year, that's really been the bane of my existence, is trying to figure out, hey, this guy has done 2 eighth mile deals. So, anyways, that takes a ton of time to sort and figure out. But I've got most of that done and should be able to do everything except the rowdy radial entries is correct and done right now. Now I need to go through each event and make sure that just because it says Rocky Mountain Race Week, that they didn't actually enter in a rowdy radial eighth mile class in this event and another event as well. So that's my last little bit of pieces and parts to do for that. And I'll get that done tonight and either post it up tonight for like maybe the top 25 and then the rest of it tomorrow, like we did last time. Because that's really when the questions come out. People are like, wait a minute, I've done 2 events and I'm 24 points from moving up 10 places. I'll start looking at Southeast Street, you know. And as it comes down to all of that and all the years that go into this, it's become funny that we really don't have any. We have Sick Week and then we have Sick Summer, or Sick Week and then Rocky Mountain, and then it's like this almost weekly change, and it's just so hard to keep up with. So
Right.
nobody pays attention until the end of the year, obviously, when they're trying to go through and look at that. So I suggest everybody to do that. This will be out tomorrow. Go in, make sure I'm going to put everybody's total event count in there and their eligible event count, because I think that'll help a lot.
Okay.
So just as far as like to help people understand where we're at, right? Instead of like last time I put just their eligible event, hundreds of messages. I've done 3 events. Well, actually, you did 2 eighth mile events, so you're only eligible for 2 events total. Blah blah blah. So, anyways, it's going to be awesome. So appreciate everybody and their patience on that, man. That was I'm really glad they reached out and we figured that out early instead of having to go back through and really having some changes as we went. Like, you know, I would hate to be doing that in the award show.
Right. Yeah, that would
So,
not be fun.
yeah, that would suck. So congratulations to Lamar. He moves into third place now behind Bryant Goldstone and Randy Seward, who both have 112 points. Lamar moves into third with 105 points. Behind him, Azim Sheik drops to fourth. Mike Finnegan is fifth. Rovick is in sixth. And then we've got a tie between Dan Dinan and John Moore for seventh place. So, and then Mike Turner right behind them. So, again, I'll do the top 10, let everybody know where they're at, and then we can go from there. So, anyways, all that fun stuff. All right. Let me get back to my notes here. I dropped the affiliate link. Let's talk about Drag Driver Pete updates, because a lot of stuff been going on behind the scenes. I'm trying to get this stupid circuit go-kart track thing figured out, bro. Like, let me tell you something. I know that it's 8 months from now, but I like to have that stuff hammered out so I can promote it, right? Because we do registration in less than 3 months, like 2.5 months. Like we you know, I need to have this stuff done because I got to have these stuff to promote with. And these people won't answer the phone, man. It's killing me. Absolutely killing me. So anyways, let's talk about Short Circuit, because that is coming up in 2.5 weeks. Kind of crazy. Brandon Parker, big shout out. My left-handed, right-hand man for the Short Circuit is putting up $60 for the quickest 60-foot time. I thought this was a great award here. I think it's going to be kind of fun. We're doing a lot of these fun awards like this.
Yeah, that'll be kind of cool.
Yep. And we just crossed 50 cars signed up. Actually, as I walked up to the shop, I got another email. Somebody else had signed up. I really think we're probably going to end up I hope on site we have 60. I think we're probably also going to be able to pick up a few people that are there for like the test and tune and just want to have some fun. They're like, oh, you're going to drive 100 miles tomorrow? Count us in. I think we're going to end up with some stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I'm getting excited about this event. I was nervous going into the beginning. Were we going to have enough people? It took a couple of days to kind of get that thing wound up, but I mean, we're getting steady entries. I mean, obviously every day we're up to 50 and we opened it, a week and a half ago, something like that. So
Yeah.
So it's going to be awesome. Yeah. Brandon Parker in here right there saying, hey, yo, let's go. Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm sad you're not going to be there, but dude, this is one of many events that is going to be held over the next few years. And, missing one ain't going to, it's not the end of the world, sadly. Dang it.
Got
But
a cool message here from Craving Cars saying,
Hmm.
hey, and then thanks for our time and effort. What's the biggest event you're looking forward to for 2026?
Ooh, man, that's a good one. Let's answer that in the driven racing oil stuff. Let's
Perfect.
do that. And yep. And then he's asking, when are we back at Flying H? Probably with Midwest next year, actually, unless one of the events goes there. Maybe. I don't know. I've been thinking about that boost and barbecue that's this weekend as well. So I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, Short Circuit comes up 2.5 weeks. If you want to get in, look up dragdriverpete.com/short circuit 2025. I think this is going to be an event that's going to stick around. I think it's just going to be a nice laid back, fun event that we can just spend some time with people, instead of the circuit. We're pretty busy trying to wrangle up 200 folks, but 50 to 70 50 to 70 participants, I think is a great number. Lets everybody kind of get their passes in and spend some time. And, there's only like 50 people at a time that can fit in a Waffle House anyways.
I love it.
Yeah. So, why don't you tell us about this next deal here? Because you sent this to me earlier.
Yeah, this was just dropped probably only about 20-ish minutes ago, maybe 30 minutes ago. But Goldstone has released his newest shirts with the new car on it. Pretty cool there. What is it? The upper left-hand corner there, it says 5-second, 250-mile-an-hour street car, which is pretty cool. And then 53 Corvette there. So pretty cool new shirt. He just dropped these. I think $25 for a shirt. Was it $45 for a hoodie and $50 for a zip-up hoodie? So pretty cool
Nice.
there. So if you guys want to, head over and hit up Bryant Goldstone there on Facebook and pick you up one of those because those are pretty sweet.
Yeah, we're going to be dropping the link to that here on the page. I shared it. I shared the post, but definitely need to save some photos and put that out as a standalone post as well. So pretty awesome, man. I love the design. Obviously, that car is just badass. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna make for an interesting year next year.
Yeah. And then last up, of course, I've talked about it several times. The Drag and Drive Awards presented by Summit, room 235 on December 11th at 11 a.m. at PRI. You guys got to be there. Please come by. Please say hey. We do have a booth this year. Obviously, it's 10 by 20. So we're actually bringing a table and some chairs. And we're going to stand there and do live streaming, podcasts, and stuff like that from the show floor. So it should be pretty fun.
Yeah, I think that'll be real fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. All right, sir. Let's move into some driven stuff.
All righty. Driven racing oil is the performance engine oil that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application. So whether you're launching hard at the drag strip, enduring the extreme heat of off-road and circle track, or even pushing limits in top fuel drag boats and demo derbies, winning racers choose GP1. It's compatible with engines from classic hot rods all the way to cutting-edge race machines. GP1's unique surface cling adhesing formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for those flat tappet camshafts, while also solving issues like cylinder washout with methanol and ethanol fuels. It's crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil, enhanced with state-of-the-art additive packages. GP1 offers the best in protection and performance. So drivenracingoil.com is where you can go pick up your oil or any one of their other amazing products. Use code DDR10 for a 10% discount. Again, DDR10. And follow them on Facebook and Instagram and find out what event they're going to be coming at near you. Then you can stop at that event, support them there, and probably buy products right on site.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do want to answer the Craving Cars question. Thanks so much for your time and efforts for all you do. What is your biggest event you're looking forward to in 2026? Dude, I don't know. Sick Week is obviously a big one just because I think there's going to be so many fast cars there. To be
Yeah.
honest, Derek will be on later. We'll talk about a little bit of that probably towards the end of the show. So Sick Week, and then to me, Redwood Rally, dude. I've made the commitment to go to other events that we haven't been to before for 2026, and Redwood Rally is on that list. I've told my daughter she can go with me if Melissa doesn't, and she's already talking. She's looking at the tracks, she's looking at the race cars that are out there and all that kind of stuff. So I think one of those two for me. What about you?
I don't know if it'll be an event that I'll make it to, but Big Sky Race Week is
Mm.
obviously another one that I think would be awesome to go to. We'll see what 2026 shapes up to look like for me. So that would be a cool one. And then 666 this year,
Mm.
just depending on where that's going to be. Hopefully it'll be somewhere near or around where I am. So that's going to be another one that I would look forward to.
Oh
And
yeah, for sure.
obviously, Sick Smokies would have been one. By looking at the pictures, and we'll talk about later, that's one that I definitely wish I would have been able to go
Oh,
to because that just looked amazing.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's I had serious FOMO.
Yeah,
Serious.
you and me both.
Big time, big time. All right, well, let's move through some of these things here. Let me get back to our screen here. All right, so first up, Wild West Dragon Dash is starting. They're actually doing pre-tech and early registration right now. Pre-tech and early registration. Yeah, that's the right phrasing. I think they're even doing some food and stuff like that. So this should be a fun one. Wild West Dragon Dash obviously made a huge splash in the Dragon Drive community earlier this year. They are sold out, and I tell you, this thing it looks fun. It's in a part of Texas that's really never had a Dragon Drive. I think there's a lot of people that are going to come to this that we've never seen before, and a lot of folks that are making the trip, kind of like Sick Smokies. There's a lot of new names on that list, but there's also a lot of I would say 2/3 of the list that went to Sick Smokies is new. So that's pretty awesome. I think Wild West Dragon Dash is going to be the same way.
Yep.
Yep.
That should be good. I'm excited to see coverage of that.
Yep, and then they were on last night with Adam Dory, so I should be able to finish up my article on that conversation. Finish that up tomorrow. A lot of great stuff in there, and a lot of history for them. We love when promoters are also drag and drive racers, and they've done a lot of drag and drives in the past, so that always helps kind of keep that community alive and moving forward. So big shout out to the Deshmans down there. Yeah, Desh. Portia Densman. I don't know. I can't remember their last name. But anyways, hope they have a good time. And Back to the Streets, I think, is probably on my list too for 2026 as well. I'm hoping, anyways.
All right. So
Yeah,
next up, we have Street Machine Drag Challenge. That is October 28th, so 6 days from now, running through November 2nd, and that is starting out at Dragway at the Bend. So again, another one of the overseas events that has been growing quite a bit in the last few years.
yeah. I mean, Australia, we've seen huge growth there. They're now up to like 8 events or something like that in the year, which is pretty awesome. Road Trip Drag Challenge is right after that. Actually, the next weekend kicks off. This is their third event of the year. Road Trip Drag Challenge. We had Mac. Yeah, Mac Epps on the show a couple years ago. We need to have him back on, man. That was a good time talking about the event.
Was it Mick? I think it was Mick.
Mick Epps. I think yeah. AP. Yeah. Hey, listen, it's been a long time. I've slept since then.
Yeah, right. And then obviously next up after that is the short circuit. So again, that is the same weekend, November 7th and 8th, again at Tulsa Raceway Park. Again, this is going to be a fun event. So look forward to the event coverage again. I won't be there, unfortunately, but I'm excited for this event. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And like you said, just kind of a laid back, fun kind of weekend style event. Should be good.
Yep, and then Southeast Street and Eat is after that. Again, love this photo. Rich Woodward would probably kill me for posting this up, but that's the way it goes, man. It's just such a great shot caught by, I think that caught by Jesse Fox on that one. November 11th through 15th, Shady Side Dragway in North Carolina. This is a good one. This is one of the, this is a fan favorite. This is a participant favorite right here, just because it has the same feel. It's like just a laid back, good time. A lot of really fast Southeast U.S. racers come out to this thing, and they have 2 tracks in one day. Dude, I love that. I love that because they're only like 40 or 50 miles apart. So, it's always a great conversation. Are you going to drive over on your race tires, or are you going to just, make the full switch back over to street mode?
Right. Right. And how long do you stay at track 1 versus jumping out to get to track 2? Do you want to get to track 2 early? Do you want to stay late and get a couple extra runs at track 1? So yeah, it's definitely kind of cool and puts an interesting spin on things for sure.
Yep. And then round us out here, sir. This will be the last one of the year.
Yep, last one of the year, Central Victorian Dragon Drive number 2. This is November 13th through 15th, and this is at Charlton Airstrip in Victoria, Australia. So again, not a lot of racetracks over there. So get creative, and they do things on airstrips, which is really cool.
Yep. And then we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I guess. But if you did the road trip drag challenge, no, yeah, street machine drag challenge, and then road trip, that was like 1,000 miles apart, and then came back for Central Victorian. That was another 900 miles to the track. So lots of drag and drive racing. We'd love to see somebody do the trifecta over there and hit those up.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if anybody does. I can't imagine that anybody does, but would, like you said, would be pretty cool to see if somebody do it.
Yeah, but at least hit the 2 that are close. That would always be cool.
Yeah, for sure. So, man, what a year. That number is not right in here, is it?
Nope.
I was going to say. All right, so that puts us at 50 events for the year so far. And again, if you want to see the list, dragdriverepeat.com/event list-2025. And again, we're already building out the schedule for 2026 because there's so many events that have already dropped dates and or committed to having events at roughly the same time of year. Right now, there's 14 events already on the list for 2026, and we're sitting in October of 2025. So super cool to see that many events already starting to pile up. Again, 14 is more events than we had 5 years ago.
2022. Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah. So pretty wild, man. It's insane the growth that we have seen in this community.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, again, we appreciate Driven Racing Oil and all the stuff they do for us. Great bunch of folks over there, and can't wait to see them, man. I should be hanging out with them here pretty soon. I can't remember which event we're going to cross paths at, but I know we'll definitely see them at PRI. They have a huge booth that's always packed full of fun stuff.
Yeah, and usually they have some kind of get together one of the nights too, don't they?
Mm-hmm. So we'll be there as well. Oh, yep. And then Buckeye Skips says we're working on the dates as we watch. Yeah,
yes.
We are in that time where like the next few weeks, I would say probably the next month, we should see another 6 or 8 events be able to lock in their dates. So
yeah, well, if you guys want to announce those dates on here, let us know. Otherwise, as soon as you do announce them, let us know, and we'll make sure we get that updated on the site and post it everywhere we can.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then we Redwood Valley just announced they are going to announce their dates for 2026 with us again at PRI. So that'll be the 3rd year in a row that they've announced with us, and we appreciate that. We'll run a live stream right from the booth there as they announce tracks and dates and all that kind of stuff.
And here I'm putting together an event for the Florida Panhandle late March or early April 2026. So T German 569. That's going to be pretty cool too.
Yeah, bring it on, man. Keep us updated. Let us know what's going on. And yeah, send us a message now so we can keep bothering you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Love seeing new events come together and people talking about working for 2026 already.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to be early because you got to get that out there, especially with an event in March or April. You need to be promoting as soon as you possibly can, and then you really need to open up registration early as you can. So it's going to be great. All right, let's talk about some J-Wire Solution stuff. This is one of my favorite segments here. We're going to talk about Buckeye Skips in this one. J-Wire Solutions is expert car and marine wiring solutions you can trust. J-Wire can wire and plumb your hot rod, your race car, or your drag and drive car, or your sandrail, or your snowblower, whatever you got. Plus, they offer products to make your driving experience better, like this little piece right here that we've talked about a few times here, the heater bypass block off. This is a big deal in LS world. This actually helps the flow of the water if you just loop those pieces there, the radiator, or the, what do you call that, heater box hoses. If you loop those, that kind of creates this whole little area of just a mess. This heater bypass block off helps with all of that, and plus, Jay is a drag and drive racer and co-pilot himself, so if it was done, it was is done right. So pretty cool setup there, and you're going to run one of those on the Mustang.
Yep, I already have one. It's already installed in the water pump, and it's already mounted on the engine. So whenever I get back to putting that together, it'll be ready to go.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's talk about some Buckeye Skips stuff here. This is the winners from Buckeye Skips, and I didn't list them out here in our normal note pattern for everybody that can't see our notes backstage. So we're actually going to go through here, and I grabbed screenshots from Buckeye Skips page, which I appreciate them doing that as well. Unlimited Big Tire winner is Richard Rose, car number 9 with an average of 11:36. Runner up, car number 76 with a Mr. Tom Hartman, 12:303. I think, man, Unlimited Big Tire, dude, somebody probably could have went up there and just knocked it out, man.
Yeah. All right. So up next is the Unlimited Small Tire. So winner is Joshua Simmons with an average of 7.6645, and runner up, no other survivors.
That's awesome. That's a great way to put it in there. In the truck class, they had Jim Loveland took the win in that class with an 880. Bro, that's a fast truck. And then David Pritchard in behind him with a 958.
Yep. And then truck closest spread, William Tom Hill with a 0.0536. So pretty good spread, but also close race. Runner up with Tim Tothman, 0.059. So 053 to 059. That's a pretty close spread.
Yeah, that's a close one. And we'll dig into that. I've asked those guys if they want to be on next week, and I think they replied back that they're in on that. So I would love to do that. Love to hear the stories kind of behind, like what we're going to do with Derek and the Sick Smokies here in a minute. On Dial Your Own class, which is based on the closest spread. I love this setup for Dial Your Own. David Lips takes the win with an 008 spread over Chris Hill with an 043 spread.
Dang old bracket car there, 008.
Dude, man, that's insane.
850 index, again, another one of our favorite classes. Christopher Hyatt with an 8.588 over the runner-up, Brian McNally, with an 8.731. So, again, pretty good there. 858's, that's pretty good.
That's pretty salty. And I would love to hear some stories in behind that. Chris Hyatt doesn't sound familiar to me. Based on some names, so I have to dig in and look a little bit deeper. 950 index. Mike Blewett takes the win with a 956 with a 1, and then in behind him, Nathan Hoopman with a 958 with a 4 average on that side.
Yeah, pretty close there as well. The 990 index, which I really like this too. I like throwing out those different numbers. So 990 index, we got Clark Heckert with a 9948. Over Jesse Hazlitt with a 9953. So again, 990s right there as well.
Yeah, Jesse Hazlitt's done a lot of events this year. I don't have the full list of regional events laid out yet, but I think he's probably done maybe like 3 or 4 total events for him this year.
Nice.
1090 index, Chuck Thomas, 1098 average on that one. And then second place, Tom Wild with an 1106 in the 1090 index.
Yeah. Then the 1190 index, you got Ray Darnell with 11.992 and runner-up Justin Schaefer with a 12.184.
That's awesome. Stick shift class, John Kenner takes the win in that with a 982 average, and then Mike Formick with a 1075 average after that. So pretty big swing between first and second place there in stick shift.
Yeah. Stick shift closest spread, again, Kyle Dennis with a 0.0452. And then William Wise, the runner up, with a 0.1095.
Yep. Kyle Dennis, I think that is the Quarter Horse Customs white fox body.
I believe so.
And then I grabbed some photos that were sent from Kevin Jordan when him and Tommy Dupree were actually racing the event, but we did not get a photo of Tommy's truck. How much crap is that?
Did we? Did he tell you how he did or anything?
Nope. What? Hadn't heard anything. I know.
Tommy Dupree.
Yep, gonna punch him right in the leg next time I see him. But I did catch this car, Vinny Barbone, out there just taking names, kicking ass, and had the engine out on this car, I think on Tuesday of the week of Buckeye Skips.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that'll be a good story to follow up on next week when we have these guys on. Looks like a lot of super cool cars just based on the photos here. And I always like seeing the camping, like seeing the tents and stuff like that in the background. But a lot of cars. Oh, man. Tommy broke. That's gonna make him so mad.
That's probably why he didn't. I'll say that's why he didn't tell us.
Yeah, he's gonna be so mad. Well, that's the way it goes. Race cars are tough, man. Race cars are tough.
Better get him back into the car that he was in at Sick Summer.
Oof! Ouch! Go buy that Firebird back. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll follow up next week with these guys and talk to them. Kind of the plan. We'll give them an hour to go over again winners, cool cars that are in the event, and some of the route stops and things like that. Buckeye Skips was a regional event held in Ohio, and it looks like it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, I think what they tell us last time, like 140 cars is what they had registered and everything. So that's awesome for your first event.
I think they had 111 finish or 111 show up or something like that. I can't remember the final number. Tommy gave it to me, but I don't remember what he sent over. But pretty awesome. It looks like they had some really competitive cars, and we'll obviously break down within the classes from there, like how many other tight races there were and things like that. Because a lot of times, like the number 1 and 2 spot may not be very close, but the number 2, 3, and 4 spot may be separated by a couple thousandths or something like that. So, just got to take that time and dig in and get all that info put together. But thanks again to JWire Solutions. We appreciate him and all the support that he gives us, and not just for the support of being a sponsor, but also being a great friend. Jay is one of the man, I bother that guy a lot. There's a lot of fun times where him and I nerd out big time over cars and over stats and over all that kind of stuff. So appreciate him and all he does. So again, JWire Solutions, if you're looking for somebody to talk you through wiring your car or wiring and plumbing it, I mean, he can definitely do that. 111 showed up. Yep, perfect. So that was close, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Molly Motorsports, attention racers and high performance enthusiasts. Are you ready to start your next engine build? If so, there is no better time than right now to go check out the Molly Motorsports all-in-one Power Pack piston kits. With over 1,200 applications, these kits come complete with pistons, rings, wrist pins, and clips, all designed to work together. Molly Motorsports Power Pack piston kits take out all of the guesswork, so no more trying to determine if a piston will need this ring to work with a certain cylinder size. Molly Motorsports did all of that engineering for you, so you can get to the part that matters, which is building a power plant that leads you to victory lane. Visit mollymotorsports.com for more details. And for our podcast listeners, Molly is spelled M-A-H-L-E.
So as I began kind of this, we literally, like Eric and I write this show, like we're literally trying to find stories and talk about stuff. And what one guy just kind of comes to mind all the time, to be honest with you. And what's he doing? What's he got going on? What's happening now in this guy's life? And so I actually got to talk to him a little bit on Tuesday, which was yesterday, for about 15 minutes. And man, this guy's conflicted. It's really cool to be going through this with him. So this week I want to feature Mr. Tom Bagley, who is he is as much addicted as you could ever get to drag and drive.
Yes.
This guy, the amount of money he spends to come over here to race these cars. He's been over here 3 or 4 times this year now to come over. Just, I mean, it takes like a day and a half for him to fly here. He spends a couple days here doing, drag and drive stuff, and then he has to fly home. And man, the conversation him and I had yesterday was like, I'm tired of going home, man. He's like,
Yeah.
I want to live here. So I after that conversation really kind of like made me realize how great we have it. Like
Yeah.
there's 30 something drag and drive events here in the US. We can go to one just in any direction that you could want to go at any time, just about. So, and he doesn't have that. They have Street Machine or uh, Street Weekend over there, Street Weekend UK. It's uh, it's just crazy to think the stuff they've got. So I pulled up a couple posts that he's got, and I want to read part of it, and we'll talk about it, and I'll read another part and all that kind of stuff. So he said, "What can I say? Had this wild plan, 2 test sessions, and a bunch of parts to fit. And as usual, it all fell through. So I had to prioritize accommodation and other small things to be able to make it in time." So, backstory here, he flew in a day and a half early, gets the car ready for Sick Smokies, um, ends up with a roof rack on the top with a rooftop tent, which is awesome to me. I love this car with the rooftop tent on it. He said, "But what an adventure. Huge thanks to everyone involved. It was an absolute blast. Couldn't have done it without you. Chad Reynolds and I had this scheme with the rooftop tent, and it turned out a million times better than I think anyone thought. The amount of people that took pictures of it really made it for me." He said, I didn't have one person who came up and said it was stupid. Every single person said it was badass and super cool. So I grabbed a couple shots from his posts. Dude, look at this thing. It's
It,
it's gigantic.
yeah. Yeah. I wish I was able to be there to actually see it in person. I mean, I'm really intrigued by that setup and how he did it.
Yeah, look at this thing, man. It's gigantic on top of the Mustang. I love it.
Right. But like, how cool is that?
Yeah. Well, and it saves so much money, you know, for him to be able to again come over here and spend the time and do this with us. Like he wouldn't be able to do that without the rooftop tent and friends.
Right.
So yeah, he had to load and unload the tires in the car and all that kind of stuff, and that sucked. But like, dude, this is just badass. It's badass to me to do that. He's got one shot, and I didn't grab it. I'm sad I didn't. But it's him sitting on the rooftop, looking out over that valley. Did you see that shot? Oh
I
my god,
did.
man, what a great shot. Just super cool to do that. And I'm telling you, the trailer and camping game has really taken a step forward as people are looking to do more events throughout the year, right? They want to do more. They want to be able to get out. And even if you camped for 2 nights instead of 7, you're still saving. That's $300 worth of savings right there, generally. So,
Right.
you know, as we move forward, I think we're going to see a lot more of this type of stuff. And man, I loved it, dude. It's freaking awesome.
And honestly, it's not even just about the money savings. I mean, you see cars getting broken into, cars getting stolen. Like,
Hmm.
you camp at the racetrack, you eliminate that in general.
Yeah.
So there's other benefits to it other than just saving money. And now obviously everybody talks about it's nice to have a warm shower and a comfortable bed, but listen, you're on a drag and drive event. What part of that is meant to be comfortable?
That's exactly right. Yeah. And hey, Dragon drives are just like you said. They're meant to be tough. He said the knapsack stuck to its guns, tested patience and parts, but in the end, still finished with a really respectable 676 at 104 mile an hour average. Obviously, these are in the eighth. Considering day one, I turned in a 738 at 95. Dude, he said it was an awesome comeback. So that's pretty crazy to end up with a 676 at 104 after turning in a 738.
Right.
Yep. What's Danny saying there? We camped the entire event. Man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And Jesse Fox does. He camps out of Benny the Volvo. I mean, that's how he does it. And then showers at Planet Fitness across the country. So Planet Fitness, if you're looking for people to sponsor, Dragon Drive Racers are the first place you should start. You can
Yes.
get a little work on the treadmill in there and a shower.
Yeah. He also said Tom is his unofficial drag and drive wife. Well, funny thing about that is if you make it official, he don't got to fly back home anymore, right?
Well, they can't do that because he's now engaged to a great lady, and so yeah, you can't marry two folks. Well, maybe in one state here in the U.S. you can do. Yeah. Yes,
Yep,
and
right here, same thing. He said the main reason we can't trust the hotel parking lots, which is sad, honestly, but that's the way it is sometimes.
yeah, I mean, a bunch of cool cars pull in. We say it all the time. Don't make it easy. Don't make it easy for them to get in and get that stuff. He said the drives and views were awesome. The people were mostly awesome, except for one jackass who tried to ruin it at the very end, but not letting that get in the way. He said, so happy I got to do this event. Next stop, Sick Week.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Tom
Yeah.
here saying, Julie and I missed you guys last week. Hope to catch up at PRI. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll be there. Stop by the booth for sure.
Yeah. So just a big shout out to Tom to make the commitment to do as many events as he has, to take the time off of his daily, his daily job over there in the UK, fly over here. I mean, he spends, like I said, a day and a half in the air trying to get here, in airports and all that kind of stuff. Then, to turn around and have to go back home, man. We want you to stay for sure. So we're looking for a wife or a work visa for him. Drag Driver Pete isn't big enough to apply for his work visa. We have talked about that in deep detail. Yeah, we would love to have some way for Tom to get over here. So if you are a company looking for a hardworking, motivated individual that you would like to also help bring over to the States, hit us up, hit Tom Bagley up, Bagguley on Facebook. Let's get him over here. We had talked about a couple different companies that could make a swing like that. And man, there's some opportunities out there, and I think this guy is somebody that could fit anywhere that he was in place for sure.
Yeah, I feel like he's on the edge of getting that break here soon. I feel like it's gonna happen. So
yeah, that or we need a wife. I think that's the cheap move, but maybe that's a second option there. So again, man, I miss Tom while he was here in the States, but the car is now sitting at Mike Finnegan's place in Atlanta, and then for Sick Week he'll fly over a couple days early, touch up a couple more things, and then end up down there with us. Hopefully, maybe if Eric can swing that, I'm definitely going to Sick Week. So that's again one of the staple events for the year. That's an event I think we're gonna hopefully, fingers crossed, see the first 5-second average drop. We're definitely gonna see a 5-second ET during Sick Week. Definitely gonna do that. Just don't know if they can make the week. Somebody's gonna do it. So
you're calling it now, huh?
oh, dude, there's no way it doesn't happen. There's no way it doesn't happen. Again, thanks so much to Molly Motorsport, and the team is a huge help. I hate that I forgot that I've got a box of stuff from Eric over there, Eric and Scott today. It's hats, it's gift cards for the winners of the short circuit, and some freaking badass koozies, man. So I hate I'm gonna have to give those away, but there's just enough for the winners. So we're gonna stick those gift cards in those koozies, and it's freaking cool. And again, sponsors, not just sponsors, but they are also racers as well. So you can see George's car on here, Eric Grillio's car on here. They're drag and drive racers to the core, and that's why they work so well as sponsors in this entire community. All right, sir. Give us some race car friend stuff, and then we'll bring Derek on after that.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody who's tuned in to the first half of the show so far. Obviously, we're just getting started. Going to have Derek on talking about Sick Smokies, which is going to be super exciting. So if you guys are still in here watching, make sure you hit that share button. We appreciate all of you guys, all of our race car friends, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody coming up at PRI. It's going to be the next event that I'll be at. So, and that is coming up really quick. And also, again, can't do it without the sponsors. We say it all the time. Appreciate each and every one of these that are on your screen. Again, if you guys are doing some shopping, please check out these companies. We've got affiliate links. We've got discount codes. If you have questions, please reach out. We will get you in contact with the right person. But thank you to Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cam, J-Wire Solution, AFCO Racing Products, Performabuilt Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, Power Tube TV, WAF Racing, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk.
Oh, for sure. All right. Gentlemen's agreement. Y'all keep doing what you do, but hit that follow or subscribe button. We'll keep doing this side of stuff. And then Deechworks, sir. Do you want to do that one? You want me to?
I'll grab this one. Deechworks is a leading manufacturer of high-performance fuel system components. The DW product line includes fuel injectors, fuel pumps, pump modules, fuel rails, regulators, filters, lines, and fittings, and surge tanks. All of these items are engineered to support power levels ranging anywhere from 400 to 2200 horsepower, which we've seen while we're there, even all the way up to like 3,000 horsepower. Since its founding, Deechworks has been committed to delivering quality, innovation, and precision to the automotive performance industry. Every DW product is built to maximize reliability and efficiency, which is exactly what you need for drag and drive, also ensuring optimal fueling solutions for racers, tuners, and performance enthusiasts worldwide. Again, you guys can see on the screen if you're watching, use code DDR10 for 10% off anything on the Deechworks website. So please, if you're heading over there to get any type of fuel components, use that code DDR10 for 10% off.
Oh, yeah. And then
this is pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. This is exciting.
So at SEMA, they have released a new product. It's a 550 liter per hour pump and a 620 liter per hour pump. Man, these are going to be huge.
Well, so we've got, that gives them 420, 430, 550, 620, and 810. Yeah. So any power. Well, and the biggest benefit is like you went from 430 to 810. So you really went from, I mean, what could, be 400 or 500 horsepower pretty easy, or 600 horsepower pretty easy, to, way more than 1,000. So this gives you really that like a tailored fuel system. So you're not just absolutely dumping fuel that you don't need.
Yep. That's, and I believe these were their brushless pumps too, right?
I don't know if these are brushless or if these are, I think these are brushed pumps. They do have a full line of brushless pumps and controllers and all that kind of stuff too. So pretty awesome. I mean, we've talked to Mark Campbell quite a bit on the show here and talked about, we haven't really gotten nitty gritty and deep on this stuff, but after SEMA, that's kind of my plan, because I would like to know why. What's the difference in a 550 and a 620 other than flow? Like, why would you choose that? Like, hey, I'm going to make 700 wheel, or I'm going to make 500 wheel is a great example in the old truck. Why do I choose a 430 or a 550, instead of going ahead and running a 620 pump on there? Because, I'm going to upgrade, right? Which is what gets us all. We're all going to make more power down the road. I'm going to turn it up. I'm going to do all this, so got to kind of have those plans. Anyway.
Yeah. While I'm in there.
While I'm in there. Yep, we've all done that as well. All right, well, let's take this off of here. Let's bring on Mr. Derek Putnam. Hold on. Let me get it in here correctly. What the heck is going on here? Dude, what am I doing wrong?
Rookie. It's your first time?
Good evening, guys.
Hey, hang on, Derek. There we go.
All right. That's way too much for me. I need to be on a regular size.
Whatever. You're crazy, dude. We need to make you bigger. Eric, put us backstage. It's now become the Derek Putnam show.
No, everybody is just seeing me for 8 days. They don't want to see me that big. Trust me.
Yeah, it's Derek Drive Repeat right now.
Yeah. I mean,
dude,
it's awesome
to have you on.
I'm out of what I can say.
Well, I'm excited to have you on. Eric can attest to this. Eric, what are my notes?
Derek Putnam of Sick Magazine, Sick Smokies.
That's my notes. So
hey, listen, if anybody's ever watched the show, Derek's been on a number of times. You and Derek together do not need notes. I promise.
Right. The great thing for Derek tonight and me, sadly, is that I really couldn't follow much last week, the second half of the week, because beginning Wednesday morning, I was in Tulsa doing the throwdown in T-Town, and literally spent. I had a notification. I had 1 hour on social media on Wednesday. Like that's abnormal for me. Usually it's 5 or 6, but did not have time to do it because we had so much to get ready for. So Derek is really going to be like telling us what happened. So, we got a little over an hour here to kind of go over what all happened on Sick Smokies, man.
Dear God, I don't think I've recovered from the Drag and Drive hangover yet, and you want me to try to squeeze this in?
Yeah, I can't imagine. So here's my thoughts.
Okay.
Let's tell stories first, and then I'd like to get into winners and stuff like that. And after we read the performer built thing. So like in that last 30 or 40 minutes, let's do winners and tell stories about them. But first I want to hear, like, dude, this is a completely new area of the country for Drag and Drive, and well, not new area for the country, but tons of new tracks. And then also Tail of the Dragon.
Yeah, it was insane when you consider some of the ways that everything comes together as far as the one-offs. I was actually writing about this. The fact that Tom has had so much success with putting together Sick Week and Sick Summer. And then in 2023, we did Death Week, and it was only 80 people. And now when you consider not only has the quote unquote community grown so much, as Eric referred to earlier, to 50 events, the fact that we did 6 events this year, including 2 week-long or longer one-offs, is just showing how much that community is growing. And the fact that we're getting that kind of response, it's probably the best thing I can say about this is there are so many, God, Joe Cole. There are so many, I'll get back to that in a second because I'll lose my train of thought. There are so many great people in this community, and it literally makes me sad that I don't get to see more of them than, once or twice a year. Mm-hmm. The grim reality, and I'm going to go back just real quick. When I watched Hot Rod Drag Week on YouTube, it was how can I afford to do this? Mm-hmm. I want to know what jobs people have besides YouTube, because we've already talked about that. How do people afford to do more than one of these a year? Because, like, for example, Rovic has done more than a couple. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Richard Guido's done more than a couple. Lamar Swindell Jr., who you referred to earlier, has done more than a couple. And it almost seems like a regular recurring series where, hey, I just saw that guy a couple of weeks ago and good to see him again, that kind of thing. And I guess it's hitting me a little harder today because it's the end of our 6 events that we're doing. And obviously the 2025 season's starting to whittle down a little bit. As you mentioned, there's only a handful of events left. And I feel like maybe that spilled into Sick Smokies in the fact that there was so much people that were coming because they wanted to experience the new areas, the new racetracks. But as always, we had probably, I want to say 30 to 40% people that were brand new. They had never done one before. So that really speaks to me. That's the kind of thing that really gets me energetic and wants to see that week through. And then when it all comes to a halt at the end, you're like, okay, why am I not getting up early next day and going to the racetrack?
Dude, it's the weirdest feeling ever. You know what I mean? Like it does feel very strange to be at the end of what is the craziest season ever. I mean, dude, I've gone to more events than I've been to ever. And it just continues to just astound me how many people can do, like, with regular jobs, like not just business owners, you know what I mean? Like folks that have a good team that can take care of their stuff, but like people with regular jobs that go to work every day and then they're like, hey, I'm going to be gone for 10 days because I'm going to do this. I think people make it a priority now.
Yeah. And, again, I'm just, and I'm being completely truthful here. I am merely one spoke in the wheel when it comes to why Sick events go the way they do. I mean, I take a lot of pride in what I do because being a racer for 3+ decades, I know kind of the stories. I want to be able to relay those because that gives something extra to each and every person that's out there. I don't care if you're a junior street person that's running in the 9s or if you're, Nick Cryer setting personal bests and winning. It doesn't matter. Everybody went through sacrifices to be there. Every single person is on cloud 9 when they roll through tech on day 0. And that's something to be celebrated. And as we've talked about, and I've had this conversation with several people, the deal with what we do is it celebrates everybody. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what you're driving. It doesn't matter how fast or slow it is. Everybody has the same challenge in front of them. You need to finish the week or finish the event. And that's what brings all of us together. We all want to see everybody get there. And I feel like that was probably at play just as much in this event as it is in others. But because these are smaller events, I feel like everybody kind of gets to know everybody a little bit more. So even though this was our biggest one-off ever. So
yeah, I mean, and so I was just looking up the numbers there. So 234 people on the list for Sick Smokies, which is awesome. But 1,120 people for Sick national level events this year. Now that doesn't include your 2 weekend events, but man, that's crazy. 1,120 people.
Yeah, it's a hard number to wrap yourself around, especially when you start looking at diving into how much stuff has evolved. Like when I was looking at when I'm finishing up the final day, and I'm looking at certain things like how somebody has progressed over the last couple of years. Like for example, I dropped a comment in there when you guys were getting towards the end talking about Tom Bagley. Think about how far he's come with that car since 2022. Yep. I mean, he and I were joking about it. He goes, well, my career best is this. And he goes, and I don't think the air is going to be good enough, but maybe I'll get there. He ended up having to borrow an O2 sensor on the final day. And he goes, I just need it for one pass. And he blows his personal best out of the water. Yeah. And you and I were talking about it during the week and how excited he was. And it's like, think about, like you said, how much that guy goes through beyond the normal person who lives in the U.S. or Canada. But then you had 3 guys that drove over 2,000 miles to get to the first racetrack. You know, that's the kind of thing that really does get you excited about doing this. And I think, like you said, it makes it that much harder when it's time to say goodbye at the end of the time, at the end of the week or the end of the event.
Oh, yeah. Let's answer this one here because this is a great one. So T. German says, what's the average miles do the majority want as a maximum or minimum between tracks? That is kind of a tough one. Listen, 150 is great. 300 is also great.
Yeah. Here's all I will say. I feel like there's been enough said about what really designates mileage, and I don't think it's an easy thing just to look at like a number, because I will tell you there are people that have completed and won Dragon Drives. But there are also people those same people that have gone to a True Street deal where it's 3 runs back to back and they don't finish or they don't do very well.
Yeah.
So they obviously each bring their own unique challenges, considering one is hundreds of miles, if not thousands, and the other one is only 30 miles. So it's hard to say it, but the thing that I love because of where I came from and what I do, bracket racing and index racing, is all of these smaller events are going to help in the overall scheme because they're in more places. They're easier for people to commit to, and it provides a way. I think somebody used the words feeder system. I don't think I would necessarily classify an event as a feeder because I feel like they're just as important to every single person. Sure, gateway drug. We can use that. But the point is that just like Test and Tunes, there are people that will never advance past the 2 to 3 day event because that's what they can afford to do. That's what they can do with their time off. I'm not going to judge them any differently because that's what they do versus a whole event. But I do feel like I've done a 3-day cruise. I've done a 7-day cruise. You feel differently after you do the longer one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think, and we're getting into opinions here, and we need to probably circle back to Sick Smokies after this. But I feel like the weekend, the regional stuff is great to get those people in, just like you're saying. I think once they finish that, I think they will want more, especially like once they see that their car can do it, and they're like, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Then they're going to go do a week-long one event, and then they're like, oh, my God, this is awesome. You know?
Yeah. And now thinking back about it, I brought up Joe Cole, the guy who constantly reminded me about making sure that I sent him the run order every night, or at least that I did it because, one of the things that I feel really blessed about, and I don't want to get into me that much in this, but
that's all we want to talk about is you.
No, we need to talk about the event, not me. The one thing I will tell you is this. I always leave more oftentimes last or pretty close to last, unless somebody's thrashing on something. And as much as I try to enjoy everything, it multiplies up, obviously, if I can find somebody else that's competing that I can ride along with, because put the windows down, I can hear the car in my rental, and it's like, yeah, that's that much more exciting for me. And I got lucky. I managed to run into people most of the time along the way. And I got to roll with some gassers through Tail of the Dragon and through some of the what we called Caliente route. And I got to run into Joe and Finnegan at a couple of places where they lined up some people at one of our checkpoints. And that really just elevated everything to the next level for me. And I feel like that is the kind of thing that really does add the next element besides what everybody thinks going into it, which is I've got to get to the racetrack. I've got to make my passes. I've got to burn the miles. Enjoy the drive that you're doing, because you'll ride alongside somebody else that you've never seen before. You might help them make it to the next checkpoint, and you'll end up making a new friend from somebody that may not even live in the same country as you, or let alone the same state as you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you'll be friends forever because you all chewed some of the same dirt, you know?
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about Tail of the Dragon while you're kind of on it there. Hang on just a second. Let me get to where I can move through these photos here. Bro.
It's insane.
Ageless.
Absolutely insane. So let me give you a little contrast on this photo. So Case Hardy's car, I mean, I love this thing. It's a stick shift 61 Falcon. So, you know, it's an odd car to begin with, and it just worked so well in this photo. So little backstory. What happens is whenever we decide to come up with the routes, and when I say we, I mean as an organization overall, although Tom and Luke are probably the guys more responsible for it than anything else. Luke is really the guy who does the majority of the legwork. Because of our Sick on the Green and Bowling Green and the fact that Luke and I drove to Kentucky, we were able to pre-run most of the route for this, but we did it in May. The change from May to October, as you see in this photo, is huge. It was where I was struggling. Like, I had more people ask me at the end of the week, what do you think the best was? Death Week, 666, or this? All three of them bring their own unique things, but I feel like this kind of rises a little above because it wasn't as long. You know, you could burn 400 miles driving across the desert during Death Week, but California was pretty cool. Route 66, there's a lot of history there. You can't deny that. That is why a lot of people want to do it. This really just tapped so many different senses as far as waterfalls, dams, changing colors on the trees, the fact that we went to a prison, penitentiary, for example. We got to go to Lokar, we got to go to ACES EFI, we got to visit all these truly unique checkpoints. The only thing I wish I could have done is I wish I could have gone inside the U.S. Space and Rocket Museum, but I got there too late.
Dang, how cool. Dude, the shots out of this place,
yes,
incredible.
So probably the biggest thing I will tell you that a lot of people were nervous about, to the point where Luke basically put a little blurb because he figured, okay, you know what you're signing up for. We've talked about Tail of the Dragon since the beginning. Now, it's not completely crazy, but it is a little bit of an exercise. I mean, you're talking about a couple hundred turns, and I think it's like 12 and a half miles, something like that. So in the directions that we put out for that day, here's the little blurb right here that shows you what you can do as an alternative. Well, apparently so many people were like freaked out that they said, okay, we want to do the alternative. When you have somebody like Nick Cryer in a 4-second 33 Ford Coupe says, screw it, I'm doing the Dragon. And you have Finnegan in a gasser say, screw it, I'm doing the Dragon. All of a sudden, some people's opinions start to change.
Yeah.
And as you can see, more and more people said, I'm not gonna waste this opportunity. I'm actually gonna go on the Dragon. So
yep. Well, and there's so many people like hot rodders that want to do that. And we would typically want to do it in a car that's more built for that. But like, wow, man, it was just incredible. Just incredible. Like we purchased a photo package from Jesse Fox I said, man, every shot I want from the Tail of the Dragon. I was like, just whatever you get, I want that for this photo package. I want that, and man,
he was everywhere. I don't know how that dude slept.
I don't think he does. For a dude that does do drugs, he sure is everywhere.
So I will tell you this, not to take anything away from Jesse, because he did a fantastic job. I saw him in tons of places throughout the entire event. What everybody says about the Dragon and having multiple photo points along the way, they are not kidding. There were 4 different like tents / banners and everything hung up in numerous locations along the Dragon that I saw. And we ran into a VW group, a Miata group, several motorcycles. I'm talking both what I call crotch rockets and touring bikes. And they were everywhere. So there were a lot of times where I had somebody come up behind me and I'm like, yeah, I'm cruising a boring rental. I'll just pull off to the side here and let you go by. And so, they got to go enjoy the tail. So
Jimmy Dale put out a video that is of him driving the Rotson on the tail. And dude, it was just cool to see, man. Just really, I missed that trip.
Yeah. No, man. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm really glad that Luke and I pre-ran this, because there were a couple of surprises that I don't think he originally had in mind that we got lucky and we snagged. But again, all the credit goes to him. I said it during the award ceremony. For him to be able to get with Tom and figure out how to put this kind of stuff together is truly insane. I mean, I just don't have the words. It's amazing. And I feel like a lot of people, considering that this was our quickest ever one-off by a lot. And we'll talk about that in the averages and everything. But it's just insane when people talked more about the, holy crap, I can't believe we just did that. Can I go back and do it again or something? And,
Fast Ranger Motorsports here says, can I put in my competition for Sick Smokies 2020?
The funny thing is, and I haven't talked to him about it, but the fact that Tom said he got so much response for Michigan Miles and he got so much response for doing 666 on the 100th anniversary. So we've already scheduled our next year. So we know that we're going to go back to Michigan Miles. It's going to be different. So it will be a one-off just like before. And 666, same thing. I don't know if we're going north, we're going south. I don't know where we're going. Oh, I don't honestly know. You could hook me up to a polygraph. I do not know. Like, he and I talked about it, and he smirked a little bit, and he goes, I honestly don't know. He goes, I got about 4 or 5 things in my head, and he goes, but we'll come up with something good. And I said, all right. So, again, I'd love to be able to go back. I feel like the tracks that we went to, they were ready. That was probably the biggest thing I can tell you that was different about this. I'm not trying to bash anybody else, but when you look at the averages, you can tell just how good everything was.
That's awesome. Yeah. Man, it's just so crazy. Yeah. The views that came out of that and just all the stuff that came from that event. Hang on, here we go. What am I doing wrong here? There we go. Put you back big. Make me big again. Yeah, just really, I mean, again, for one-off stuff, for fun events, I think you guys killed it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Again, it means a lot to the team to be able to do these very unique deals, because Sick Week and Sick Summer are so much fun. And as much as we rotate the racetracks and try and do new checkpoints and everything, doing a one-off event truly brings what you're doing to the next level. You may never have this chance again. We may never do Death Week again. We may never do something on the West Coast. So those 80-ish people that did that, they hold that event in a special place to be able to say, I competed and I did over 2,000 miles in 9 days. So, but it's completely different than what we just did.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you, 666 for 2026, really, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on that whole drive. It's going to be packed with people in every aspect. We've talked about this several times, but state of Oklahoma is planning for more than what is now 3,000 people a month. They're planning for more than 20,000 people a month during the peak season. So it should be absolutely insane.
I'll bet that they would do it. Oh man, I like that idea.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That. All right, sweet. I like that. Thank you very much, sir. Shoot me a message, I guess, when we get done, and we'll put that together.
Yeah.
And Tanya already thinking right along the lines of where I'm at.
Oh, yeah.
The Gassers brought it to the next level. We told them, hey, put on a show. Some of the fans that are out here, and we look at Jay's car right now, they brought the next level. And that is not an insult to anybody that did not drive a gasser. But when Jimmy Dale, who has never done a drag and drive before and has driven a ton of fast stuff, comes up to me and says, dude, I need to buy a gasser. Do you know anybody that's selling one? And I'm like, you're serious, aren't you? And he goes, I love this crap, dude. This thing's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, the gasser stuff was cool. It looks like there were several gassers in that, 50 plus gassers on the list there, just based on what I was looking through there. So super cool. I love this shot of Tanya. There's a shot here in the next segment, but I'm going to go ahead and show it now because she's in here. This one here.
Yeah.
She's holding the green spirit. Helmet. Yep, holding the spirit there. It's pretty cool, man.
Yep. I said during the award ceremony, because that green is not too far off my own personal car. I told Jay, I'm like, dude, if you don't want to hold on to this, I will gladly take care of it for you. I won't even wear it. I'll just find a nice dust-free place for it. But apparently that one is going to have a special place in the Graviak household. And again, that's a name that's been around Drag and Drive for so long. Yep. So for them to be able to come out and have such a good time and get rewarded for embracing really what they do, but to the next level. Now, I will tell you this. Tanya told me she had never done backup duties, or she was very uncomfortable with doing them. Sure as heck didn't look like it. She was a natural. She really kicked butt on it.
Yeah, all the photos I saw her, she's running in every one of them, which I think is like a staple in the backup girl scene there. One thing we didn't even talk about, and I didn't grab a photo of it, but was the Broadway in Nashville. Bro,
that was insane.
Some of those videos came out just wow.
So let me throw a little something out here, because I actually have some notes on that, and I'm gonna kill Eric's. That's one of like 5. So I really got to shout out the really great media guys and gals that we have. Lexi, who works out of our Michigan office. Luke, who obviously has been on board with Tom since it started back in 2021. And Pavi, who is a really well-established photographer, joined us for this. Again, he joined us for 666 last year. He does a great job with picking up, like a theme or what he really likes to dig into. And then Matt Rickey, we talked about, he is just an absolute boss. That guy every single night was in a hotel room chugging away on a video for Tom's channel that went out the next day. And he, because I was last, he's like, hey, anything that you see, any trailer burnouts, anything cool, send them over to me. He goes, I want to add them into my arsenal. So he tried to balance everything out really well. And we got lucky. I managed to catch a couple trailer burnouts at the penitentiary before they closed. I managed to get a couple of drive-bys, again, when they're way ahead of us, because we have to try and split things up.
Man, that's so, Ricky's one of the hardest working dudes out there.
He is. And if you don't know who he is, we have 2 Aussies, one tall guy, one short guy. Luke is the short guy. Ricky's the tall dude. His real name is not Ricky. His real name is Matt, but his last name is Ricky, and that's what everybody calls him. So.
Oh, yeah. Jack Weatherford here saying video products team was top notch, man.
So let me tell you something. If you ever get a chance to run into that guy at an event, you need to talk to him. His connection with the original 2-lane blacktop car and everything. Oh yeah, I had a chance to talk to him about it a little bit. He had some time on the last day when we were waiting out the rain delay with Finnegan, and you could see the magic and the wheels turning and everything. It's like. Yeah. Again, it's his car right there, the Beast. It is a literal you could see decades and worlds colliding when you start talking about that stuff, and it all makes sense.
Yeah, Jack is one of my favorite folks in Drag and Drive. This car is a stick shift car, big block, just fun. That dude's always having a blast. I met him at Sick Week 25, and we had a great time. We've talked several times since then, so pretty cool, man. Yep.
No, he's again just one of several people that I was fortunate enough to meet last week. I'm having a hard time here just because honestly, I think it's a lot of things combining. I feel pretty much, I think like you and Eric do. I feel very lucky to be able to do what I'm doing. And it's a lot of stress and it's a lot of not sleeping, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. There are such great people that we get to interact with.
And the one thing that's great about 230 cars on property is you literally every step you take is a new car, a new story, a new person to talk to, and that can really get you in trouble. Eric knows.
Yeah.
Here's some photos. Here's a new video I need to shoot. Oh man, here's this I need to do. And you try and get to the hotel room at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So you throw some stuff together, and then it's 1 a.m. and you're trying to throw it together and going to sleep at the hotel table there. So,
oh yeah, I have a really bad habit of falling asleep in my chair. So
yeah,
and I do that at home too. So
oh yeah,
we've set alarms to nap while a video was rendering 10 minutes so we could wake back up and finish it.
Yeah, just give me
all right,
20
it uploaded
minutes.
that part. Let's get to the next thing.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, okay, so it exported to the thing. Okay, perfect. Now I need to load it. Okay, that's 23 minutes. Good, I'm sleeping. Yeah. Well, I just want to run through these photos real quick before we wrap up the Deechworks segment again. Again, this is kind of our talk about the drive, the route stops, and all that kind of fun stuff. Dude, this shot right here,
that will
over
be
the top.
Yeah, that and the gasser shot that you had just a little while. I think it was like 2 or 3 back. The next one, that one.
Yeah.
That's at one of the 2 like overlook style checkpoints that we did. So the fact that you've got all the way on the left, you've got David Schroeder's 32 Ford.
Oh
like
yeah.
You sit there and think about that, and you're going, okay, wait a second. So a guy that runs a nitrous Corvette wants to drive something with tires that small and a car that probably does not handle all that great.
No.
But dude, he had a smile on his face that you couldn't have painted bigger just because he was out there having a good time. And it ran in the 10s. It's got an old school flathead in it and everything. It's like, yeah.
In the 8th. 10s and 8th.
Exactly. Which is getting something for, like I said, for a car like that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Matt Donovan, obviously, in Garbage That Barfed. He had an amazing event. And then right next to him is Jeremy Bonnet, Sick Week winner with Last Penny, the 33 Willies. And right behind them is a guy who had made 0 drag strip runs before he got to Edelbrock Sick Smokies. That's Eric Beckener in the Dry Bones 67 Tempest Gasser wagon.
Yeah, talk about a super cool car. That's the car we featured early last week that had Drag Driver Pete like hand painted on the back deck. Dude, big block, like 468 cubic inches, big Pontiac gasser built, and 4 dudes riding in that thing.
So so Eric and
the best.
Eric and 2 of his really good friends built that car. And Eric told me, he goes, you wouldn't have believed I'd have 0 drag strip runs when I built this car. I'm like, nope, not exactly what I aimed for, but yeah, sure. I mean, it had a scoop literally almost the height of the roof, and it was a tunnel rammed Pontiac with twin carbs, and they looked like they were just having an absolute blast. By the middle of the week, they got that thing figured out, and it was toting the left front wheel probably 2 feet in the air while the right one was still on the ground. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, if that doesn't make you want to build a big body gasser, I don't know what would.
I honestly feel like, based on rumors I've heard, I would not be surprised if we see 2 to 4 new gassers next year.
Oh,
and they are current participants. How about that?
Yeah, you mean like 2 to 400?
No. 2 to 4 that I've heard from reliable sources, but not reliable enough that I've gotten in touch with people and said, hey,
when can we see it? Yeah, just a great group of cars, man. It really looks like just a ton of really cool stuff. This low shot here of Jack's.
I love that.
So the previous one, I'm going to throw something out there just because I know you guys have run into them before. The Reimars family actually joined us for this as well in son Jace's LTD, and they were riding 4 deep in that car. So it was Jim and his wife, Nicole. And then Jace was riding in the back. I forget who number 4 was, but it wasn't Cole. He had to work. That's the other son. So normally they've always competed at Six Summer. They haven't missed a year yet, but it turns out that Music City is not very far from them. That's like kind of their home racetrack.
Oh, wow.
So Jim, the dad, who was always out on the starting line, waving everybody in and helping work on stuff and what have you, this was his first ever drag and drive behind the wheel.
Oh,
and
cool.
Oh, dude, he was having a blast doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's Eric Bettner right there.
Yeah. Man,
so, and then Right behind him is in this photo is Jeff Sixt, who's competed in a ton of drag and drives. This is his third car. He built a 63 Studebaker Lark specifically to compete in the gasser class. He has a 75 Camaro and a C10 pickup truck.
Yeah, he was putting a transmission in that thing like Monday night, or no, the Thursday night before the event, or something, like days before. Converter and a transmission. It was some big long story. So big shout out to yeah, man, lots of thrash stories. I didn't really get into a whole bunch of those before the event because I was getting ready for the throwdown. But yeah, that's awesome that Jim drove and raced. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you could see a slightly different smile from him. I mean, normally he and his family are so enthusiastic when they're doing an event like this, but the fact that he was wearing an open face helmet, doing big burnouts in the car, and just fully embracing the fact that, hey, I finally get to earn my rookie stripes, quote unquote, because if you ever seen the car before, they use yellow tape across the back bumper and it says rookie stripe. So that's what they do every time they're somebody new drives it. So from what Dean Nicole mentioned is they're going to have another new driver in, I think, 3 years, possibly enter Junior Street. We'll see how that works out.
How cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, big shout out to DeechWorks. Again, 10% off, code DDR10. If you guys are looking for any fuel system stuff, they've got it. Eric listed all of the stuff they had earlier. And basically, it's anything that is fuel related for your hot rod. They have it. So hit them up, DeechWorks.com, and DDR10 when you place that order. Or if you have some questions, hit us up. We'll get you in contact with one of the technicians over there, or Mark Campbell, if you need questions that are in-depth, super smart technical stuff. All right, Performer Built Transmissions, dude. One of our favorite people that's out there. Eric, you want to read that one?
Yep. All right, Performer Built is the official transmission builder of Drag Drive Repeat. At Performer Built Transmissions, the goal is to engineer and build the toughest transmissions on the planet. Performer Built doesn't just rebuild transmissions, they systematically re-engineer each model to eliminate OEM flaws and to achieve the highest levels of performance. That is why they say their transmissions are not just built, they are Performa-built.
Well, let's switch gears. For the folks that are just coming in, we have Derek Putnam, the voice of Sick the magazine. I want to talk about some winners, class winners and stuff like that. I'm trying to get it maneuvered here so I can go over the winners. I'm sure you probably have a list there, so we'll let you lead this session here. I don't know what I've done here.
All right, so there's a couple different ways we can go about this. We can go through individual class winners. We can go to top 10 because there's some duplicates between those. And then we can also talk about the gassers and the overall winner. But I feel like the gassers and the overall winner are similar to what we do for awards. We can either do them last or we can do them first because those are the biggest things.
Yeah, let's start with gassers because, man, that was the a real push for this event.
Yeah, so there were over 70 gassers that signed up. And I will tell you, again, just being honest, I think there were some of them that when Luke basically did this, the way it worked was they got to register early, similar to what we do with Top 100 for Sick Week and Sick Summer. But basically, they had to submit the car, give us some details about it and what have you. So we weren't just sending somebody a blind invite and hoping they would show up. A lot of these cars, I think the problem was, if there is such a thing, is that they had probably done very limited street driving with them, and they probably got closer to the day and went, okay, I don't know if I really want to do this. So it was still, by my small amount of digging, I believe it was the largest gasser showing at any event, period.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
We were north of 40 cars. The interesting thing is the smallest class was the quickest one, A-gas, but it was not short on competition. I will tell you that. Mm-hmm. We also did B-gas, which is probably the most restrictive, and that is the category that, according to what Keith Turk and I talked about, that most of the gassers that we thought were going to join us that had never done a drag and drive, aka the Southeast Gasser Association, was going to be where most of them came from. Mm-hmm. They were going to fall into that category. Now, there was a third category called Outlaw Gasser. Look and feel of a gasser, but allow for a little bit of wiggle room. So, like, for example, you want to run a Turbo LS, Outlaw Gasser. We had over a dozen of them show up. So that's encouraging. It might lead to something in the future. I don't know at what, are we going to just do it once? Are we going to try it at a one-off? Will it be popular enough that we'll get it all year long? I don't know. It's hard to say because the A and B gas, if you go to look at some of the other ones, it's like you might only get 2 or 3 people. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, the A gas and B gas stuff, I really like that. But the outlaw gas was where I was like, I really felt like we would see some pretty interesting cars come out for that. And so I've been going through trying to find some stuff. Mike Finnegan ended up winning A gas, which is awesome for him. Love to see him succeeding. Am I right in saying that he won by 1,000?
Finnegan? No,
on average.
No, you're probably I'm guessing your notes are probably 1,000th, and it was number 2 and number 3 that were only separated by 11 10,000ths overall. So we'll get to that here in a minute. No, he had a decent lead over Robbie Weissup. No, it was not 1,000th. I had to go look at the numbers to make sure. No, 551 to 554. But if you consider the fact that the top 3 for averages were 551, 554, and 570 in A gas, that's getting with the program when it comes to a gasser. Yeah. So as you mentioned, Mike Finnegan ends up winning A gas, and he did it with some really good numbers. Now, I will tell you, at Knoxville, a track that delivered some pretty good numbers for a lot of people, he struggled on the first one, and he came back and he drove the absolute wheels off the thing, where based on where I was standing in the tower, it looked like it almost touched the guardrail.
Oh
man. And after we were done, I walked over to his pit and I'm like, dude, you just did not lift. And he goes, I didn't give a crap. I was getting that thing down there. I didn't care if I hit something or not. I am getting there, and I'm getting my lead back, because Robbie Weissup had come up there in disorderly conduct, the Nova that ended up finishing second. And he ran 666 with us. He did Hot Rod Drag Week this year. That car, the blown Chevy 2 Nova, he's done really well with that car. It ran 550s, 560s all week like clockwork. And he had run 2 passes quicker than Finnegan had. And then Finnegan delivers like a 549. So it's like he scoots right back underneath him. And I roll over there, but keep in mind, Jimmy Dale had just picked up the Rotson, and he's struggle busing the whole time he's driving that thing. And then at Knoxville, he delivers a 766 in the Rotson, which is like way quicker than anybody figured that thing would run.
Yeah.
And I walked over to Finnegan, and because he's pretty good as far as the sarcasm and just talking some crap. And I said, dude, as good as your driving job was, I said, Jimmy Dale stole your thunder. He goes, damn right he did. So it was cool to see the two of them and their energy like build off of each other. But, for Finnegan, when you consider how long he's had this car and how long he struggled with it. Now, he won Drag Week in 2019. But when you consider the fact that he's had a pretty successful year with it this year, he's been to, I think, 5 events. He's ended up winning or placing in 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken. No, excuse me, 4. And this is his first win overall since 2019. And he was probably one of the most excited guys to win the helmet. Now, I will tell you, it comes with some bad news. And that is that he has said he is going to focus on building the caddy for next year, which, if you watch his channel, you see that they've been picking away at it. Well, he said, if I could somehow win with the 55, it'll make me feel that much better about my decision. So he said he's still going to use it. He's still going to drive his kids to school in it, etc. But I think he feels like he's accomplished not all of his, some of them.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see it for a little while. And instead, he ends up working on the Lexus and the Caddy for his next ride. But it's obviously proven reliable. So out of A gas, when you consider the fact that the guy who won Sick Week this year going 880s finished 3rd, that's saying something.
Yeah.
So Finnegan wins A gas. Now the B gas class, which, like I said, is a little more restrictive. That one was kind of really in Matt Donovan with Garbage That Barf's hands since the beginning. but he fully embraced the gastro spirit. He did burnouts to the 3:30 mark almost every single day he came out.
Dude, I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, he was not afraid to torture test the tires. Now, the only bad part was, I want to say it was on day 4 or day 5. He hits me up and he says, so we've had some valve train stuff hit. We might not do a big burnout at the next to last day, but then he managed to get some stuff and he goes, big burnouts are back on for the final day. So I'm like, all right, cool, we're good. So on the last day, he knocks out his only 5-second run. He goes 5:96, I believe, and ends up locking up his class by a solid amount. I don't think there was another guy within like anywhere close to him as far as I'm concerned. I mean, his average was pretty solid. And here's the interesting thing. He finished 16th overall with a 6:12 average. That's how fast how quick this group was this year. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I could go down a side road here, but I'll stay on.
No. Let's side road. Come on.
Okay. All right. So for the data nerds, listen up. Here's how we do this. So at Death Week, you sit there and think about, okay, 2,300 miles. That's rough. Okay. We didn't have a ton of 5-second averages. Jason Russo ended up winning it with his Turbo LS Malibu. His average on Death Week was 5:49. We only had 3 cars in the 5s. And the bump for top 10, like the top 10 spot, was a 686 average, which ironically was Gasser, Jim Forbes Nova that we gave away not that long ago. Fast forward 1 year to 666. Same thing. You're going to travel a lot of miles. It's going to be a bunch of different racetracks. Now, Jason Russo's average is 546. Still pretty good considering you can't have anything in quicker than 536 because of his cage limits.
Yep.
We now have double the 5-second cars, 6 of them. Your top 10 bump spot is Greg Overman, who ironically joined us again this year for Sick Smokies. He averaged 655. So you say, okay, well, the bump moved by about 0.3 of a second. So everybody's getting quicker. At Michigan Miles, same number of 5-second cars, 6 of them. Aiden Bailey wins with a, wait for it, Turbo LS. That's 3 out of 3. He averages 524. Again, it's a car that's built to go quicker than 536, so he can hand the time slips in. The bump spot here, 630. So the bump keeps moving. It's getting quicker and quicker. Now let's go to Sick Smokies. For the 4th straight time, a Turbo LS wins because Nick Cryer's car, twin Turbo LS. So even though Jason Russo was supposed to be there, and I'm going off track here just a little bit, but I'll make it quick. He found water in the oil in his radiator with a day to go. So considering that he completely revamped his car, put a 25.5 cage in it, did a whole bunch of stuff, he was like, yeah, I don't know if I really want to risk my engine. So totally understandable. So he didn't make it. So that meant we were going to crown a new champ for the first time in 3 years. And obviously it was Nick Cryer. So there's one car that averages in the 4s. If you want a top 10 spot, Jeremy Bonnet with your gasser. Last penny. He's your dude. 570 is the bump for a top 10 spot. That is a huge difference. Huge.
God, dude.
Now there was one guy in the 4s, 12 people in the 5s. It was almost 13. But our buddy Rovic came up 7-10 thousandths of a second short.
Oh man.
Yeah, absolute gut punch.
Absolute gut punch. That's brutal.
So anyway, so let me get back into the gassers. So we've done A and B gas. Now let's talk about outlaw gas. So outlaw gas is a little bit of everything. Some of these cars didn't really have, quote unquote, the nose high stance that you would expect a gasser to have, but they were close. Some of them, as we talked about, have different engine combinations that really wouldn't fall in the general perspective of a gasser based on year, make, and model and or design of the engine. So the guy who ended up winning Outlaw Gasser is Randy Quay. His co-pilot, ironically, is Cole Sammartino, who has competed in several drag and drives with a ratty radial, high 4-second LSX twin turbo Nova. So makes sense. Randy Quay's car, turbocharged LS. So on day number 1, they run like in the mid 6s. They're kind of figuring stuff out. They go to Music City and they magically find some tunability in it, and they do a huge wheel stand and somehow manage to not break anything. And then the rest of the week, all in the mid 6s or all in the low 6s. He ends up winning Outlaw Gasser by a decent amount when you consider what the overall averages could have been. I think I just had him. I'm sorry, I just lost my sheet. He was in the top 30, I think, by a good amount. I'm trying to find where he is, but unfortunately, I'm not scanning quick enough. Here he is. Number 18 at 625. His best pass for the week, 612 at 111. Not bad for a car that, if you read the story that we put out on Sick the Magazine a little while back, it was like a basket case piece. So,
right.
But it was his first drag and drive ever.
That's so cool.
Yep. So he got a helmet, and same thing, big old smile painted on his face. So, and then as we kind of touched upon earlier, I feel like it needs to be discussed about the fact that Jay Graviak and his wife Tanya ended up getting Spirit of the Smokies. One of the things that Luke, I think, really embraced is, and this was reinforced by a lot of the racetracks when I talked to him, is a lot of people may not have heard of drag and drive. So in addition to talking about the classes, a lot of people were like, you might want to tell them, hey, to this point, they've driven X number of miles. And it's like, it's very easy for me to get tunnel vision like this and not even think about that during Sick Week or Sick Summer. Well, I started saying it, and you could see people in the grandstands like turn around and look at each other like, that guy just ran 5 something and he drove 500 miles to get here. And it's like,
and they're like, why can't your car do that?
Right, exactly. So the fact that, Jay and his wife Tanya have done a ton of stuff. Like the photo that you put up, he's done Drag Week for over 10 years. That car, even though it's probably a little bit more difficult to drive than his black 67 Nova that he has, and obviously the Graviak as a family, there's a lot of them that compete. They have a lot of different cars. He said he has so much fun driving that car that it's not even about winning anything anymore. He's doing it for the fun of it. And even though Tanya was not really all that, confident about doing the backup girl duties, you could see she just drove right into the role and really embraced it. And by the end of the week, everybody was loving that. Jay was doing big burnouts across the starting line and everything. I mean, you could see it in the middle. Look at all of the drag week years that are on that car.
Yeah.
Right.
And, like I was having fun with it, like the mailbox scoop. Nope, don't worry. He still gets his mail at home. That's been on the car for a while. It wasn't a last minute change, that kind of stuff. Because I think a lot of people have not seen those. Some of them probably did. Some of the racetracks we went to, but not in this capacity. So
well, and like Knoxville Dragway, that's where they run the Southeast Gasser stuff all the time. Those guys are used to seeing race cars. They're not used to those cars driving out of there and leaving with a small trailer behind them or no trailer at all.
Right. So, again, the Gassers, in my opinion, when you weigh out all the events, they really do bring everything up. So it's hard to sit there and say one thing is better than the other, but the deniability of how many people came running when we said, hey, the Gassers are coming, was, in my opinion, on level as our quickest cars are showing up. Like we just saw the Bad and Bougie car of Randy Quay Outlaw winner. There's that's Jeff Oppenheim's car that, we just saw Matt Donovan's car, Garbage and Barfed, and then obviously you see Last Penny, and then Mark Connor's beautiful 65 Falcons in the other lane. I mean, there was a wide variety of gassers. There was a lot of cool stuff.
Dude, that shot, bro.
Yeah, that photo.
Yeah. And consider the fact that car is a solid 3+ seconds slower in the 8th mile than Oppenheim's El Camino. And he is still having so much fun wheeling.
Oh, yeah.
So, but, and then like there at Aces. So that shot actually ended up morphing into another shot that I ended up using in day 6 story where Don Moyer with the Bad Blood car. The thing I love about that car is it has the clear scoop. It's got the old school style spread apart injection, not the parallel stuff that you used to see in the 70s and 80s where that tuning those individual cylinders has got to be a nightmare, but it looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that car to me is right up that's quintessential gasser right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Rotson being apart. I forget how many head gaskets they went through. I don't think it was as many head gaskets as Kyle Buntley. I think Buntley Buntley went through 3 and went through an engine.
Oh man.
And speaking of Kyle Buntley.
Yeah, right in there, right there. That's
Dude,
awesome.
It was so much fun to watch him and Richard Guido literally like just do this every single time we called up A and B. Hey, let's put number 1 and number 2 stick cars together. Crowd just loved it. Let's put number 1, number 2 gassers together. Crowd loved it. Let's put number 1 and number 2 overall, or number 2 and 3 overall, because Jared Aspergren and Lamar Swindell Jr., both small tire Chevys. So there are those things that I think probably because of this event being a little bit smaller, it allowed us to be able to manage that versus you go to Hot Rod Drag Week, or you go to Rocky Mountain Race Week, or you go to something else where there are so many cars that it becomes hard to really pair people up to be able to give the crowd a show.
Yeah, great job. So let's run through just a few more class winners there. Obviously, they can find the full results on sickthemagazine.com. Correct. If they want to go through and look at those, give us another few here. We got about 15 minutes before we wrap it up. But
okay, so let's fire off some things that are interesting. So can't not talk about the fact that Nick Cryer won his first race. Now, obviously, we're used to seeing them in the milk truck, but he debuted the 33 Ford at Six Summer this year and came within 1 day of just staging. He ended up chewing a bearing. So he goes to Hot Rod Drag Week and runs a 7:16 best. The 8th mile on that was 4:62. He exceeded that 3 times on Sick Smokies. His final day run was 4:54 at almost 159 miles an hour. So if you do the math, roughly, he's right on the borderline of sixes. And because we give away sick wild cards at this event, he's going to get a sick wild card to Sick Week. And he's really awesome. Ramped up about that. So
yeah, he should be. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
So some of the other things that I would probably want to talk about, at least from, there's a couple that, in my opinion, weigh a little bit more. So let's talk about Junior Street. That's a class that we added for Michigan Miles and for the Sick Smokies. We're also going to do it at Six Summer next year. It's going to be a small number just so we don't take anything away, so to speak, from the overall. But to watch Troy Steinke for his first time ever run a drag and drive at age 13 with his parents, Rick and Jackie, that's an emotional moment, especially if you know how long they've been doing the stuff. Now, I will tell you this. Troy winning to me, not saying he got it easy, but no surprise. In his first year, he made 6 finals and won a Wally at the Division I ET finals. So that kid obviously knows what he's doing already from running junior dragsters.
Yep.
So the rumor mill is that he may compete in a drag and drive by himself once he turns 16. But to watch him and his dad go out there and do a Jackie video, it was cool because it flashed back for me watching my dad for 9 years. And it's like the memories that you make doing that with your family, especially when your kid comes and starts competing for the first time, is you can't replace that.
Yeah, I'm ready. We got about a year left for my youngest daughter. She'll be Junior Street next year.
I love it. That's awesome. Lamar Swindell Jr. obviously still showing that nitrous cars can really kick butt if you think about it. His average was 5:09 with an 8. He finished number 2, which is pretty quick when you consider, again, it's a nitrous car. Number 2, the fact that he only went through 10 bottles of nitrous. Last year, he took 20. So
that's crazy.
Now, 1,000th behind him, or technically 10,000ths behind him, is Jared Aspergren with a turbocharged Nova, who became only the second car to run in the 4s, and he did it on the last day. He kept resetting his personal best every day. He double entered his car with his son Connor in Junior Street. So they would go up and make a run, and whatever came up first, and then they would change it. So, and Connor went up there and just, kicked butt. He did a great job. Actually, all 3 of the Junior Street drivers that came up, all of them did really well. And it was cool to see them swap back and forth between, and it was really great to see that happen.
Yeah.
The stick shift battle was a good one. You've seen Kyle Buntley messaging in here already. He has a stick shift LS swapped. I think it's an 88 Mustang, if I'm not mistaken. So him and Guido go back and forth with each other to the point where, I think it was the first day, I want to say that Kyle got a couple of rods to where he had a new engine swung in the thing, and then went through 3 sets of head gaskets trying to stay with Guido. And the 2 of them lined up with each other at Knoxville, I want to say. and it was a 548 to a 555. It was that close.
Wow.
It was awesome to watch them bang gears next to each other. So then Kyle decides, okay, screw this. I'm coming back around. I want to narrow the gap. He's bumping the car in, and because the pressure was too much, I'm standing in the tower, and you look down, and you can see water coming out of the right-hand side of the car as he's bumping in. So because the tree's on auto start, it's going to fire as soon as he immediately stages. Crew can't run up there in time to stop him, although they tried. He goes through the water, somehow misses the middle of the racetrack guardrail and hitting the outside guardrail. Let's replace the head gaskets again.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. So he ended up doing 2 days drives in 1 day.
Oh man.
Yep.
Ew. Yeah,
So,
that's pretty.
And trust me when I tell you, he probably wouldn't change a thing. He enjoyed being able to go back and forth with Guido and have a good time. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see. I believe that he is supposed to do Southeast Street Meet next with several guys out of his area. Yep. They're actually fixing the Rotson right now, and they're going to take that as well.
Oh, nice.
Yep,
that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, he had said earlier in here he had the Rotson right now or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, they actually. So the spot I think that technically quote unquote opened up in Finnegan's garage was that Bagley ended up parking in is now because the Rotson moved.
Nice.
Yep. So, there's a lot of really good stories about some of this stuff. I mean, Rovek had his best 8th mile average ever, 6 flat with a 6. So 6.006.
Wow.
He needed like a 593 or 592 in order to be able to get his first ever 5-second average and just missed it. But he was, doing his traditional trailer burnouts, having a good time, it is always better when Rovek's around. I mean, he actually threw the idea, on day number 1 of keeping track of how many tacos everybody had eaten. And I'm like, dude, there's not enough time in a day to be able to do it. No. So,
wow. Yeah, it looks like he put up, 1, 2, he had 3 5-second days submitted. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he
that
just
keeps really come around.
Yeah, when you consider he again is very much like Tom Bagley. When you look at how much his car has evolved since doing Death Week with us 2 years ago, and the fact that new motor that him and Bill Travato Racing has built, I feel like, again, it's a nitrous car and it's stock suspension, so it needs not perfect conditions, but it definitely is more susceptible because you got to get on it early. And I think that his goal of running in the 8s is very realistic. It's just going to require a little bit more fine tuning. So we'll see him. We'll see him at Sick Week.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, from the rest of the stuff that's there, it bears to be talked about that Royce Payton was there with his wife's car,
bro,
the turbocharged '67 Camaro that they debuted at Big Sky Race Week. Beautiful car,
so nice.
Yep.
Now, so nice.
To be fair, I gave him a hard time. I said, dude, you're switching power adders, you're switching makes here. Come on. And he goes, well, I need to sort the car out and make sure it's right for her before she drives it.
Oh, 100%.
He said it with a straight face. And I'm like, okay. So he ended up winning quickest big block with a 571 average. And that car, you can tell it still needs some tweaking because it ran in the mid to lower 5s. It had that potential, but it was just right on the edge of traction. It obviously makes lots of power, and they're still trying to dial it.
It's so nice. So nice.
So besides that, I think that it definitely bears to mention that there were some cars that I had never seen before. For example, James McCutcheon had a gorgeous 66 Chevelle, all black with a small, like Sunoco style cowl hood. He ran in the mid 5s the entire week. He ended up finishing number 8 with a 557 average. We talked about Guido winning stick shift. He had a 567 average, which was pretty solid. He had his best 60-foot ever with us, 134, which is getting with it. So Finnegan finished 5th with a 551 average. Again, just the top 10 this year was just insane. So I mean, other than that, like you said, you can read the results online, and I'm actually finishing up the story that I'm going to post tonight. But being able to see people that have done all 3 single stage events, meaning Death Week, Route 666, and then this year at Sick Smokies. And the cool thing is, I figured you guys would want to see it. I did not bring the sign because it's hanging in my garage. So one of the cool things that Tom decided to do at these events, because they are a little more unique, they gave away skulls for Death Week to all the drivers, which I thought was pretty cool. And they say survived something. So it's kind of interesting. So there was that. I think this year's driver bonus for Sick Smokies is pretty cool.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Hang on. Sorry. I'm working on it. Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
So, I mean, it makes sense considering we went through Tennessee and everything. So.
Yeah.
Right.
But, again, the biggest thing that I can't reinforce enough is the number of people that have really set aside time to do this. There were so many new people that I had a chance to talk to, as well as so many people that just trusted me like they had known me for so long with, here's the story how I got the car, here's the cool things I've done with it, my wife or my daughter or this or that. I couldn't relay everything, but there were so many great stories. And again, I just feel like what we're doing going forward is in a really good spot, because we look at what drag racing is going through right now. Mm-hmm. And just the fact that there's that much interest in it. Somebody actually asked me if they thought it was going to be able to continue to grow. And somebody actually asked Finnegan on a show earlier today the same question. And he said, absolutely. Yeah. And when you think about the fact when you and I first met each other, Mike, there were 11 events in 2020.
Dude, it's crazy. That's what we were talking about earlier in the show. It's just how much this thing's grown. If we counted all the events that were drag and drive adjacent, we're probably in the 60s. If you start kind of figuring up some of the true street stuff that really has a lot of drag and drive racers that are competing in it, I was just looking at the slow cars of the week. Listen to some of these names that are in the slow cars. So you got Dave Schroeder, you got Joel Kerr, who we know from his experience last year with the Corvette at Sick Week. Dan Nissen, Jesse Mataferri. I mean, everybody knows him, and the trucker. Like there's just so many names. Cameron Thorpe in the Mazda RX-4 wagon, like Riley Gravy. I mean, there's just so many names that went down there and were, tens or slower in the 8th. As far as an average.
And what I hope I get this correct because I asked him about it early in the week. I asked Jesse. He said this is his 28th Drag and Drive event.
Holy, that's so awesome.
It seems almost like so long ago that it was in his pickup truck. I mean, I can't really even think about that. The trucker is basically what you think of with him.
Yeah.
Right. So, there was a question here earlier I was going to ask too. It said, how many cars finished Sick Smokies?
Of course, Joe would ask that. Let's see. Out of 200, by the way, I'm going to update you. The number that we originally said on day number 1 was a little off. It was 239 that originally started. Survived 194. So not bad. Yeah. About the normal attrition rate. I would say if I was going to take a guess at it, that's probably somewhere between 17 and 19% somewhere.
Yep. So that's about normal, which is wild to think that 20% you don't make it.
So I will tell you that we have hooked somebody, and I will go ahead and take some responsibility for this, so you can blame me. But no, he's a really cool guy. His name's Thomas West. He has a 7-second in the quarter mile S2000 stick shift car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he built a new ride for his wife that he debuted at LS Fest last month. And it's a stick shift car. And he grenaded basically everything. He went through 3 axles, some bearings, and then grenaded a transmission on day number 4 at Knoxville. And he was like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm tired. I can't do anything. And so he's telling me this as I had walked out of the tower, and I said, don't take this the wrong way. You picked the right time to break your car. And he goes, I'm really glad I know you because that doesn't sound good. And I said, bear with me. I said, you have a drive day. Find a transmission, drive the last 400-something miles, and stage it twice. That's all you have to do. And then you'll finish. And trust me, it's going to be worth it. And as soon as I said that, you got Alex Rops that comes over, you got Tom Bagley who comes over, and they're all saying the exact same thing. Like, dude, we can figure this out.
Yeah.
So by, I want to say 2 a.m, he had a guy who found him the axles that he needed from Wicked Performance. He ended up putting a stock 60-60 transmission behind an engine that probably makes 1,200-1,300 horsepower, and basically putted it along to make the last 3 days happen. But he was so happy that he did it. And he goes,
yep.
I used to think drag and drive guys were weird. He goes, but I'm one of them. He says, I'll walk my words back, and I'm going to be in another one. So we've converted somebody.
That's awesome.
I met Thomas a few years ago at PRI for the first time when he had his twin turbo LS Civic there. And he's a pretty cool guy.
He is. He can be intense, but that's because of how much he loves what he's doing. And he is a huge flag waver for the stick shift community, which again, more people in that camp, as far as I'm concerned, the merrier, because it just makes things that much better. So with that being said, again, I very much appreciate the time, guys. Obviously, we could always discuss this for way longer than we have, but Sick Smokies was amazing. I really look forward to seeing you guys in about 6-ish weeks at PRI.
Yep.
And it's been an amazing season. Granted, it's not over yet, but I feel very thankful, as I know you guys both do, that we are able to do this kind of stuff and meet some of these great grassroots people.
It's the most awesome community that's out there for sure. Derek, stay backstage. Thank you for spending time tonight. I appreciate it. A little more than an hour on here for sure. I know you were backstage before that. I could see you making notes and all that kind of cool stuff. So we, from our side, thank you for what you do for the community and obviously for Sick the Mag that helps put out just so much more content for people to find the drag and drive community. It's awesome.
Yep. One more thing, if I could, real quick, just because we've talked about it, but because it comes right at the end of Sick Smokies. Registration for Sick Summer is coming up on Saturday. So if you are top 100 from this year, you should have gotten an email. If you don't, send me an email at derek@sickthemagazine.com, and I will double check it for you. If you are expression of interest, those are going to probably start going out tomorrow because we obviously don't want anybody to miss them. And Tom announced we are going to do 60 wild cards for Sick Week in 2027.
Wow.
So we did we are doing quote unquote 45 this year at 13 different events. We're going to step that 45 up to 60 because you guys talked about it. It sold out so fast that sure, plenty of new people get in, but we want to be able to feature some of the best at that event. So again, thanks for the time tonight, guys. I really do appreciate it.
That's awesome. All right, dude. Thanks. Dude, how fun. That guy's awesome.
Yeah, and it was cool to hear about the event that obviously we both wish we were at and couldn't make it, but man, the photos are just amazing.
Yeah, listen, I was like, when it got to be Monday, I was like, man, I could get on an airplane. I could fly to Tulsa Wednesday. And I was just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Maybe it was Sunday night, and I was thinking I could fly Monday morning and back Wednesday. Dude, do you know how hard that would have been? It'd have killed me. But it would have been
Kyle Dennis there.
Yeah. Yep. Tune in a little bit late. Yep, man. Pulled off the win in stick shift with the closest spread at Buckeye Skips. Yeah, we talked about that just a little bit ago, and we'll have the team from Buckeye Skips on next week to discuss all that stuff. So, all right, well, let me flip through here. If you want to send us out, sir.
Absolutely. Once again, appreciate everybody in here. We had tons of comments tonight. Appreciate all the comments of everybody watching and, talking about Sick Smokies. It was a great night and appreciate everybody once again. Thank you to all of our race car friends. Look forward to seeing you guys soon. And of course, our sponsors, once again, cannot do it without these companies that you see on the screen. We appreciate them very much. If you guys are spending money, please check out these companies. Discount codes, affiliate links, reach out to us if you need anything relating to these. We'll get you in contact. But thank you, Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cam, J-Wire Solution, AFCO Racing Products, Performer-Built Transmission, Car Change 3D, PowerTube TV, WAF Racing, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you guys on Saturday morning.
Yep. All right. See you.